Hi, I'm Jet. I work in marketing for one of those tech companies everyone's heard of but can't quite remember what they do. I'm 28, have my own apartment, pay my own bills, and somehow still feel like I'm 12 whenever I'm around my parents. My phone buzzed while I was in a meeting. 3 texts from my mom. Your father and I are celebrating our 30th anniversary next Saturday. Dinner at La Maison, 7 p.m., wear something nice. Not exactly an invitation, more like a summons. But hey, family is family, right? Sure, I'll be there. Congrats on 30 years, I texted back. The reply came immediately. Marcus is flying in from Boston. He's bringing his new girlfriend. She's a pediatric surgeon. Of course, Marcus was bringing another impressive girlfriend. My older brother, the doctor, the golden child who could do no wrong. Meanwhile, I once brought home an art director I was dating, and my mom spent the whole night asking her if she planned to get a real job someday. I called my buddy Chris after work. Dude, another family dinner from hell coming up. My parents' anniversary thing. Is your brother gonna be there? Yeah, Marcus the Magnificent and his surgeon girlfriend. Mom already texted me about it. Man, why do you even go to these things? Your parents treat you like garbage. I sighed. I don't know. I guess I keep hoping something will change. Plus, my Aunt Diane and Uncle Mike will be there. Haven't seen them in forever. I actually found myself looking forward to it as the week went on. Aunt Diane always slipped me extra dessert as a kid and treated me like I mattered, and I'd get to see cousins I hadn't connected with since Christmas. Saturday arrived. I wore my best suit, bought an expensive bottle of champagne I couldn't really afford, and even got a haircut. When I walked into La Maison, I spotted my family at a long table in the center of the restaurant. Mom waved me over, air kissing my cheek. Jet, you made it. Your brother's over there. Marcus was holding court at the head of the table, his arm around a woman with perfect hair. My father was beaming at him. Where should I sit? I asked, looking at the 2 empty chairs near Marcus. Mom pointed toward a round table in the corner. We're a bit crowded at the adults' table. You can sit over there. I followed her gesture, a table full of my cousin's kids. The oldest couldn't have been more than 12. You want me to sit at the kids' table? It's not a big deal, Jet. We need to keep the seating arrangements balanced. I looked around. My cousin Tyler, who's 3 years younger than me, was sitting at the main table. So was Marcus's girlfriend, who I'd never even met. This is a joke, right? Dad appeared beside Mom. Don't make a scene, son. Just take a seat so we can order. That's when it hit me. This wasn't a mistake or a space issue. This was exactly how they saw me. Not as an adult, not as their son who deserved respect, but as a child who should be grateful to be included at all. 28 years of this crap. 28 years of being the family punchline. I stood frozen before Dad nudged me toward the kids' table. The champagne bottle felt heavy in my hands. Are you our babysitter? A little girl with pigtails asked. No, I'm your cousin Jetty. Why are you sitting with us? You're old. From across the restaurant, I could hear Marcus's booming laugh. The adults clinked glasses while I cut chicken nuggets for a 6-year-old who kept kicking me. Do you want to see my Pokemon cards? A boy with chocolate milk around his mouth asked. I glanced at the main table where Mom was showing off Marcus's girlfriend. She's doing her residency at Mass General, top of her class at Johns Hopkins. Dad chimed in loudly. Much better than Jet's last girlfriend. What was she again? A waitress? She was a restaurant manager with an MBA. After dinner, Aunt Diane caught me. That was cruel what they did to you. I'm used to it. You shouldn't be. They've always played favorites. Your job at Vertex Tech is impressive. I read about that campaign you headed up. Thanks, not impressive enough apparently. Your parents tell everyone you're just answering phones there. My stomach dropped. They what? Monday morning, my colleague Karen noticed my mood. Who died? You look terrible. I filled her in on the dinner disaster. The kids' table at 28, with a cousin younger than you at the adults' table? Welcome to my family. Has it always been this bad? Remember when I won that industry award? Mom asked if it was a participation trophy. And you keep going back for more? They're my parents. They're toxic. The time they forgot you in the family Christmas card. When your dad introduced you as our son, the one who's still finding himself. I know. What did Golden Boy Marcus do? Basked in the glory as usual? You need to stop taking this. You're about to get promoted to marketing director. I blinked. How do you know about that? Sarah from HR let it slip. Youngest director in company history. For the first time since the dinner, I smiled. Then an idea formed. What if I don't tell my family about the promotion? What if I let them keep thinking I'm just some entry-level nobody? Why would you do that? Because I'm tired of trying to impress people who are determined not to be impressed. Maybe it's time they learn exactly who they've been belittling. Karen leaned forward. I'm listening. I need to catch them in their lies, document the pattern, then expose it all at once. That's the spirit. But how? I'm not sure yet, but I'm done being the family joke. About damn time. I'm in. Whatever you need. For the first time in years, I felt something other than dread when thinking about my family. It wasn't happiness, more like anticipation. A month later, I got the promotion. Director of Marketing at 28 with a salary that made my eyes water. Karen took me out for drinks to celebrate. Did you tell your parents yet? Nope. And I'm not going to. I showed her my phone screen, an email confirmation for a down payment on a house. Just closed on this place. 3 bedrooms, nice yard, in that neighborhood my mom always brags about her friend's kid living in. Damn, Jet, moving up in the world, so what's the plan? I need more ammo first. I'm having lunch with Uncle Mike tomorrow. Uncle Mike was my dad's brother and the family black sheep before I came along. We met at a diner the next day. Heard about the kids' table incident. Uncle Mike shook his head. Classic Robert and Linda move. Was Dad always like this? Worse. You know your grandpa left me out of the will, right? Your dad convinced him I was unstable after my divorce. Meanwhile, your brother's trust fund has been growing since he was born. Wait, Marcus has a trust fund? You don't? Jesus, kid, I assumed you both did. My food turned to ash in my mouth. No, I took out loans for college. I'm still paying them off. Uncle Mike looked genuinely shocked. That's messed up. You know your cousin Tammy's medical bills last year? Your parents told everyone they covered them. What? I paid those. Tammy lost her job and I sent her the money. Well, your mom's been collecting sympathy points for their generosity all year. I called Aunt Diane that night. I need your help with something. Anything, honey. Next time my parents start talking about me, could you record it? I need proof of what they're saying. She didn't even hesitate. I've got dinner with them next week. 7 days later, Aunt Diane sent me 3 recordings. My blood boiled listening to them. Jet still can't manage his money. Had to loan him cash again last month. That was my dad's voice. I hadn't borrowed money from them since college. At least Marcus is making something of himself. Jet's just coasting on that entry-level job. My mom to a chorus of sympathetic murmurs. I called Karen. I've got what I need. Time for phase 2. The housewarming trap? Exactly. I'm inviting everyone for next month. Can you help me set up? Just tell me what you need. I spent the next few weeks preparing. Bought furniture that would make my mother's eyes pop. Set up a home office with my director nameplate prominently displayed. Framed my awards and press mentions about my campaigns. I practiced what I'd say 100 times. Rehearsed how I'd play the recordings. Prepared documents showing my financial assistance to family members. Printed bank statements proving I'd never borrowed money from my parents in years. The night before the gathering, Karen came over to help with final preparations. You ready for this? I looked around at my beautiful new home, the evidence carefully arranged, the catering ordered from my parents' favorite restaurant. More than ready, tomorrow they'll finally see me for who I am and themselves for who they are. The doorbell rang at exactly 6. Karen gave me a thumbs up from the kitchen where she was arranging the catering. Showtime, she whispered. First through the door were Uncle Mike and Aunt Diane, their eyes widening as they took in my new place. Holy cow, Jet, this is gorgeous. My parents arrived next with Marcus and his girlfriend trailing behind. Mom's face was a perfect mixture of confusion and forced politeness. This is unexpected. Are you renting? Nope, all mine. Dad scoffed. Must have a roommate helping with costs. Tour first, then drinks, I announced, leading them through each carefully staged room. The home office was last, my director nameplate gleaming on the desk. What's this? Marcus picked it up, frowning. My promotion, youngest marketing director in company history? Mom sputtered, but you just answer phones. Actually, let's talk about that. I guided everyone to the living room where Karen had set up a projector. I prepared a little presentation. Aunt Diane slipped me a subtle wink as I dimmed the lights. For years, I've listened to stories about me that don't match reality. Today, you'll hear the truth. I played the first recording. Mom's voice filled the room. Jet just can't hold down a real job. We're still supporting him financially. Dad shot up. Turn that off. Why? Embarrassed to hear yourself? I clicked to the next slide, my bank statements. I haven't taken money from you since college. In fact, next slide, proof of payments to Tammy and other family members. Remember Tammy's medical bills you claimed to pay? That was me. Uncle Mike stood up. I knew it. And this? I pulled out trust fund documents Uncle Mike had helped me obtain. Marcus gets a trust fund while I get student loans? Marcus looked genuinely shocked. I didn't know you didn't have one too. There's more. I played Aunt Diane's recordings of my parents belittling my career, claiming I was unstable and taking credit for my achievements. The room fell silent when it ended. Mom was the first to speak. You've completely misunderstood everything. We were just concerned. Save it. I've spent my life trying to earn your approval. Today I realized I don't want it anymore. Marcus approached me slowly. I had no idea they treated you this way. You never bothered to notice. You're right, I'm sorry. Mom rushed over. Jet, honey, we're sorry if we hurt your feelings. You're not sorry you did it. You're sorry you got caught. Dad tried next. Son, let's talk privately. No, we're done talking. I'm done being your punching bag. You're not welcome in my life anymore. Surprisingly, Marcus stood beside me. I'm with Jet on this one. One by one, family members moved to my side of the room, leaving my parents isolated. 6 months later, Thanksgiving looked different. Karen, Uncle Mike, Aunt Diane, even Marcus and his now fiancée gathered around my dining table. No kids' table in sight. To family, Uncle Mike raised his glass, the ones who actually act like it. As we clinked glasses, my phone buzzed with yet another text from my parents begging to reconcile. I deleted it without reading and looked around at the people who truly cared about me. Sometimes the family you choose is better than the one you're born into. What would you have done in Jet's position? Should someone completely cut toxic family members out of their life? Or is there always room for forgiveness, no matter how badly they've treated you? Share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever had to make a difficult choice between keeping peace with family or standing up for yourself? What happened? If you enjoyed this story about finally standing up to toxic treatment, hit that like button so more people can find it. Subscribe for more stories that might just give you the courage to make changes in your own life. New videos every week.